Kitchen. I'm Elizabeth Gabrielson. I'm a chef and a wellness coach, and I'm a special friend of Spring Creek Farm. And so today I'm going to highlight another delicious recipe. No surprise there. What I want to do is catch you up on what I have started already. Today I am making an acorn squash, okay, a baked acorn squash recipe. See, that I got started in advance because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be stuffing the acorn squash with a stuffing made with Spring Creek Farm Italian sausage. Okay, so some pork sausage, you can also use beef sausage. So what I did was I got these squash just going a little bit in advance. Now, as you can see, I coated them in some olive oil. I covered them with a little bit of salt and pepper, both sides, roasted them face down, 375 for about 20 minutes. Now, I happened to go do some other things and I lost track of time. So mine are like a little more cooked than I would even recommend. I would say cook them about halfway. So they're a little bit tender, you get them started, and then during that time, you assemble your stuffing. We're gonna fill them in this beautiful presentation right here on top of my acorn squash halves, okay? And then we put it in the oven all together. Okay, so that's all you missed. I just baked our acorn squash. Now, to get it to this step also, in addition to, how I prepared it, I cut them in half lengthwise, okay? Then I used a spoon or like a grapefruit spoon, which is such a cool trick because it has a serrated edge, to scoop out the seeds. That's it, okay? So don't stress, all right? It's super, super easy, and these are in season and delicious. Now, what I've done to start is I have gotten started some Italian pork sausage from the farm. Now, all I did was I took it out of the casing to make it loose sausage. You can also use an already loose ground sausage if you'd like. And you can also keep this vegetarian and omit this altogether. But what I wanted to do is highlight some additional ways that we can make use of this sausage, especially using some really fall inspiration. These recipes that might be delicious for a fall dinner party, something that you might want to take as a dish to Thanksgiving, something like that. Okay, so now this got started here in this pan, and all it is some sausage and a little bit of cooking oil here in my skillet. To go along with that, I am going to add some onions, celery, rosemary, thyme. If you have fresh sage, you can put that in here, and some carrots, okay? A bunch of goodies that you can find from the market, okay? And I got the pork started first, and then when it's about halfway finished, because I use the food processor, this is nice and fine, and it's gonna cook in no time. And I'm just gonna saute that here with my sausage, okay? We're gonna make a best filling, okay? Now this is something that alone with these veggies and this pork sausage can go into your acorn squash, but you can also use this as your base to create a traditional sausage, or stuffing rather, okay? So I'm throwing a lot of components at you. Not only do we have our roasted acorn squash, okay? That alone is delicious as it is, and we can talk about how to make that at another time, even without the stuffing, okay? But just simply roasted just like I talked about, right? Then you can fill it also, it's just calling, right? It's just begging us to put goodies in here. So this is where I got this idea to then create some stuffing. Now you can use like a box stuffing mix and then amp it up with some sausage and herbs and veggies if you want, okay? Or you can just add all of this concoction of this that we're making here, mix it into something like a wild rice or a wild rice brown rice combination, some kind of pilaf, right? So if you want a grain in addition to this to then really fill these up, these are a couple of good ideas, okay? So I'm using a traditional stuffing base of some bread and herbs and chicken broth and butter, okay? Some sage are in here waiting for me because this is kind of boring on its own. You can do it, but I want to make it vibrant and more interesting, and that's where all of this comes in, okay? That's why I'm sauteing the carrots and the onions and garlic and herbs in here with my sausage from the farm, okay? And then that means also, if there's anything left over, this is a perfect side dish. Then I'll just put it in a little bowl or casserole and pop it in the oven, okay? yum. That smells so great. So remember, the farm is growing fresh sage out in the U-pick garden. So if you want some fresh chopped sage, this is a perfect application for it, okay? This is one that I really, really enjoy with the fresh sage. And keep an eye out at the market for other things like rosemary and thyme, or two additional ones that are very great in this recipe, okay? This is great because we get all of this wonderful flavor packed in here from this pork sausage. Okay, I will turn that up just a little bit. We'll add some salt and pepper, and then we have our stuffing base ready for us. Now think about what other ingredients you might want to add to your stuffing base. We talked about this, you know, our homemade stuffing enhancement, if you will, but there are other things too. Like I have here some chopped pecans. Awesome, okay? Nuts, some seeds, things like pumpkin seeds are great. Some people really love adding craisins, like a dried cranberry or raisin. A golden raisin is wonderful here, and a traditional raisin is great. You can even go kind of eccentric in sort of a Middle Eastern inspiration, if you will, and have some chopped apricots, okay? So get creative, and maybe every time is a little bit different. Maybe you only have leeks, for example, and you're like, oh, what should I do with these? This is a great use for this. Cook them down with some butter or some olive oil and some salt, low and slow. Get them, you know, braised and really, really happy in the pan, and then you can mix that in, right? So we could have a whole hour or two cooking class on just ways in which to kind of pull together stuffing. Now, so I don't want you to stress about it. I want you to just kind of use all the bits and bobs that you have. Maybe you have some other root vegetables and a couple parsnips and a turnip and some other, you know, little bits of other winter squash available. Chop it up nice and fine. Give it a quick saute, and that can go in there too. Okay? All right, those are all using those delicious fall flavors. We can go in other flavors as well. Like we can make the Italian and whatnot, but this is gonna have all the essence of fall because I want you to start thinking that way when it comes to buying and storing some of this squash. Okay, so this is now good to go. All sauteed, nice and soft, onions, garlic, all the things I talked about. And I'm gonna stir to combine in here. Now I might have to transfer this to a bigger bowl, but let's give it a try. Going to combine all of these goodies right in here. It smells fabulous. And now my oven is still on from roasting my squash and getting them going. So it's about 350 degrees. I roasted them at 375, but then I turned it down. And now you're just going to be, once we fill these, you're going to be putting them in the oven and then cooking it until it's done to your liking. Technically, this is all cooked. Okay, because we just cooked it in the skillet. So what you're doing is warming it through. You're making the breadcrumbs golden or toasty or whatever, you know, crispiness you want on top of your rice or quinoa pilaf, you know. And then let me know what ingredients you've pulled out of your pantry and used for this stuffing. And I'll send you the ingredients that I've used just to keep it, you know, easier for you to work with it in your first time, right? Okay, look at that. Stuffing in no time at all. Okay. Fill each one, don't be shy. Okay. Fill it in there just like this. Perfect. It's okay if some spills out. Those will be the good bits, right? And like I said, I'm gonna have some extra just because I made a lot. I had a big base. These are some of my favorite flavors. Tastes just like Thanksgiving. And I will put it in a little bowl and pop that in the oven too. So I'll have extra. Look at that, okay? So I want to demystify the concept of these acorn squash. They're hard to cut through when you are first opening them, but use a sharp knife, be safe, and then once that part is done, it is smooth sailing, okay? It really, really is. Also, what I recommend is if you truly are having a hard time getting through these acorn squash in the beginning, prick them a few times with a little paring knife or a fork, and you can microwave them. Same goes for butternut squash. I might have taught you this at some point in the past, but you can soften it up a little bit before you peel them. These you don't have to peel, okay? We're just gonna eat them right out of the top, you know, kind of scoop them out of the skin as we enjoy them, okay? So bon appetit, in they go. They're gonna get golden, delicious on top. And you have these individual, cutie little acorn squash on the side, okay? Perfect for a weeknight, ironically, dinner party, Thanksgiving. We will get into knee deep on all the Thanksgiving inspiration, but this is recipe number 1, okay? So happy fall. I am embracing it finally, and hopefully you are too, and you can really enjoy some of these new fresh veggies that are coming to the market, all right? So be well, and I will hope to see you soon. Flag me down if you have any questions at all, okay?